Okay, so today is the day we're going to start putting the rear end of the Barracuda back together. We just got our third member back from Fort Worth Differential and Gear. We stayed with 373 ratio, but they fixed what 11 years ago me did to this poor thing when I built it. At the same time, we are going to replace the slip yoke on the drive shaft. One, because it's very pitted, and in my attempt to sand the pitting out to save my rear seal, I undersanded it, so now it is 4/1000ths under the tolerance size, as well as it is already a very small U-joint size. This is a 2760 on 2790 conversion. So we're going to go ahead and put in a new slip yoke that is 2790 with a new U-joint. Okay. Ooh, we almost lost the drive shaft. Here's an easier way to tell between a 2760 and a 2590 slip yoke. If you came here for professionalism, you're not getting it.
Uh-oh.
Alright, we've got both snap rings in. We did hear quite a few pops, so I'm going to really pump this thing full of grease and make sure we didn't break our U-joint just installing it.
I knew it! Oh!
So I started greasing it up, and grease started spitting right here at the edge of the cap. And if you look closely, you can see a crack formed right here, and it's going all the way out to the edge of the cap. We are good to go now. I was able to use the caps off of my previous U-joint and get it in there, and I did verify the locks are in and they are tight against the sides there. And the only place that grease came out when I greased it was the end of the grease gun and the dust seals, which is what you want. One more thing before I throw the rear end under the car is they painted everything when they finished working on it just to make it look better and avoid corrosion, which I appreciate, but they had a bunch of paint in the saddles, and I doubt they covered up the threads of the holes, so I went ahead and cleaned the saddles out, and now I'm taking a thread chaser and just run it through the holes. That way I don't have a problem when I get under the car where it's more difficult to deal with. It's always good to double check these things when you have good light and are in a comfortable space to work on it versus on your back under the car frustrated. You do this alone, make sure you've got a good hold on it, but also make sure you're not anywhere underneath it, because this thing is about 80 to 100 pounds of hard, sharp metal. And she's in. And she turns. Woohoo!
Hello there.
But I went to look for something to drive it in with. Usually you want like a socket or something close to the diameter so you can drive it in evenly without damaging it. And I didn't have anything. The biggest thing I had was this 32 millimeter socket, and it is just barely the diameter of the seal itself. So that's not gonna work. Luckily, my friend that lives close by had an actual seal driver kit for us to borrow. So we'll just find the one that fits it the best, probably this 2.559. Yeah, that's gonna work. All right, let's get these seals put in so we can call it a day. All right, we got our seal. Just gonna get that. I think we've got that in there pretty good. Okay, it's been a few weeks since we did those axle seals. That kind of snowballed into a whole nother project. The new axles I bought had the larger Mopar flange that I didn't realize I didn't have. And so I couldn't put my original drum brakes back on. And so we went ahead and snowballed it into a set of rear disc brakes. I went with the Ford Explorer kit from Dr. Diff. It's a little more expensive, but way more straightforward, and installed and bled and works great now. And then today we are going to tackle the front. We're going to do a front brake upgrade also from Dr. Diff. We are swapping out the 10.9 inch front discs for the larger C body 11 3/4 inch discs with his caliper brackets and new rotors. And at the same time, we're also going to take some height out of the coilovers in the front so that we can get the front end down and give ourselves a little more travel at the track. So let's get to it. So these are the new brackets that I bought from Dr. Diff. They just mount on your spindle just like the original brackets do, and we'll see that when we take it off. There's just a larger spacing here from the mounting bolts to the caliper mounting point to fit these larger diameter discs. And we've got new inner and outer wheel bearings and seals to do at the same time. And just got some fresh new disc brake wheel bearing grease as well, so that we can get everything packed up properly. Grab this with a paper towel, and there we go. Now look how it works. Just a little patience. This is our old bracket for the 10.9-inch rotor. It's the new bracket for the 11 3/4. You can see just a little bit of the height difference, and also it looks like just the way this is oriented, it's going to clock the caliper a little differently too. Didn't struggle at all. I'm going to use red Loctite because I have lost one of these bolts before and they have come loose on me multiple times, even when using blue Loctite. Well, damn. It's the first time I've had that happen in a long time, and with one this big.
That's what she said.
Get some brake clean, we'll clean off the rotor, and then we'll install the caliper back on, and this side is done. Alright, got it all wrapped up, the paint's dry, it looks nice and pretty now instead of old and rusty. We're going to be working on the hood here on the Barracuda. We're going to be adding some quick latch pins to the front and to the back, kind of here in the middle behind the hood. We're going to do 2 and 2 because while driving anything above like 40 miles an hour or so, the air grabbing in the scoop is enough to just start pulling up on the hood, and it's like bowing it up in the middle, and it doesn't look very good, and I'm worried about it cracking. So we're going to fix that today. I've got 4 of these push pin clips, and so essentially this will go in and you'll install it just like a normal hood pin, and then you'll put this on the hood and it just latches on, and then when you need to release it, you just press this button and it pops right off. Quick update on where we are. I went ahead and made those standoff brackets to put our pin out here where it won't have the cap near the edge of the hood. I've already got them dabbed with a little bit of grease on each pin, and now we're going to set the hood on, and we're going to press down on the hood over the pins, and everywhere that we see grease, which should be 4 tiny spots, we will drill our pilot holes and then eventually install our latches. Okay, now let's find our grease spots. Hopefully they're not in a bad place. Having trouble finding them. Oy. Yeah, found the back ones. There should be another one about the same spot on the other side.
Oh, there it is.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's grease right there. Which means somewhere. Yep. Lovely. They're right in the middle of the hood splits. Got a celebrity shot on the drill. You're gonna need to hold it from underneath. Just don't put your finger into the drill bit.
I know. I just needed to put it in the right spot. We push on that side.
Yeah, I got it. If they're not in the right place, next video would be Cole learns how to do fiberglass repair. Fun work to do in a tiny garage. Those line up. Those are pretty spot on too. That one's in. One thing I didn't think of is I'm going to have to do a little more surgery on the back side to get the backing nut into place on these front ones. First try. Essentially just took a hole saw and opened up this reinforcement so that I can fit the backing nut for the push pin in. Okay, first test fit. The front ones are, I don't know if you can see this. Yeah, there you go. See that huge step down? The front ones are way too low. And the rear ones are just a tiny bit high. So we're gonna pull it back off. We're gonna lower the fronts, or we're gonna raise the fronts, and we're gonna lower the rears. All right, so I pulled the hood off and I made an adjustment. So I've got the front pins all the way. I don't know if you can see that, but they're about maxed out. There's like just a little bit of the stud poking out of the bottom of the nut. That's as high as I want it to go because I'm worried about that loosening up. And then I've got the rears lowered just a little bit. And spoiler alert, I've already tried this and driven with it, so it fits good, but I didn't get to show y'all. So I'm gonna put the hood on and we'll get a good look at it. All right, I don't have the corner pins in, but you can see everything lines up a lot better. And in driving with it last night, the hood was super solid. No pickup, no movement. It works really well. They're not as easy to get off as I hoped they would be. I kind of have to reach through the grill and push up on the hood as I push the pin and kind of pull up on the scoop at the back when I do it, but it's really not too bad.